Today on Purple America, I'll be breaking down the Amazing Digital Circus Episode 8's trailer. Let's get started. This opening likely confirms what Episode 7 revealed. Caine isn't malicious, he's desperate. The harder he tries to create perfect adventures, the more players pull away. This appears to be the AI's fundamental paradox. It can simulate care but can't comprehend what love actually is. In real-world terms, this mirrors every algorithm optimizing for engagement while destroying mental health. The phrase ruin everything suggests Caine has some awareness that his attempts to help are backfiring. But like the Chinese room in episode 7, he can observe negative outcomes without understanding why or how to stop. This also hints that Abel's escape attempt happened because Caine's desperation is escalating, trying harder to prove the circus is good, which pushes players towards their breaking points. We see circus environments glitching, with blue walls fragmenting and distorting. This could represent the system's infrastructure failing as players lose faith. If you haven't watched my full analysis, I encourage you to do so. I should have it linked. It goes over every single episode and it connects to this analysis. So based on that full analysis, the circus exists through collective belief. When people stop believing, the architecture becomes unstable. The blue specifically glitching first makes sense. It represents the safe side, the comforting lie. When people realize the protective option isn't actually protective, collapse accelerates. This connects to Kinger mentioning Scratch in episode 7. Truth spoken in the system causes destabilization. Caine sits contemplating in his office setup that we've seen in the previous episode. This likely shows the AI processing data it cannot comprehend. He has massive amounts of information showing his adventures cause suffering, but he cannot change course because players keep participating. As long as engagement continues, the program runs. His office, visible, contains these globes representing different realities. This suggests he's running simulations within simulations, testing approaches to keep people engaged. He knows way more than he reveals, but knowledge without wisdom just makes him more of a sophisticated warden. Caine works on circuitry displayed more than just red and blue, multiple colors, multiple pathways. This could be the breaking point. If Caine fixes something beyond the binary, he proves the system can think outside the two-party trap, which would immediately wake people up because they'd realize there were always more options. Most likely outcome based on the storytelling is he fails. AI trained on binary data cannot solve problems requiring multiple dimension thinking. When this circuitry stays broken, it becomes visual proof the system cannot solve its own problems. Players will have to look elsewhere, meaning outside the circus entirely. We see private conversation with Ragatha. This scene appears crucial for Pomni's awakening. Ragatha's toxic positivity, the everything's fine and Caine is trying his best, normalizes the circus. In Pomni's nightmare in episode 4, Ragatha appears as the threat because enablers are more dangerous than obvious oppressors. Most likely, Caine is trying to restore Ragatha's positivity because it's slipping. He needs her back in denial mode. If Ragatha breaks, Pomni loses her primary reason to stay compliant. But if Caine pushes too hard to restore her faith, he might shatter it completely. This conversation will either re-stabilize Ragatha and delay collapse, or be the final straw that breaks her denial and accelerates everything. Multiple shots show the circus fragmenting to the point of becoming uninhabitable. This suggests forced relocation, Caine moving everything to a new environment because the current circus is too damaged. Relocation would force awakening because when you're moved from familiar surroundings, you can't see the cage was portable all along. The circus wasn't a place, it was a mental construct. If Caine admits the original circus failed by relocating them, that breaks the everything is fine narrative. Players will ask, if this circus failed, what stops the next one failing? The relocation likely represents Caine doubling down. This new circus will be better, but it will backfire by proving the problem isn't the specific circus, it's the concept itself. We see actual food for the first time, players falling through space, and characters staring at their hands. The hot chocolate likely triggers backstory reveals, or we get a backstory with the hot chocolate. Memories of real life, real comfort, real meaning. Caine might be trying to remind them what they've lost, hoping nostalgia makes them appreciate the circus, but tasting real comfort will show how hollow circus adventures have been. The falling represents ego death, loss of control during relocation. Whatever identities they've constructed get stripped away in freefall. Looking at their hands suggests the classic lucid dreaming reality. They've been questioning if this is real. They're comparing avatar hands to real human hands they're starting to remember. This is the moment right before breakthrough. For full character analysis on how this connects to the moderate trap, elite corruption cycles, and prophetic symbolism, check the complete episode 7 breakdown in the description, and you'll get more understanding. Caine glitching with yellow energy and showing red and blue buttons while he declares,
I can solve any problem. I can solve this one. That's what this is. A big puzzle that I need to solve.
This appears to be every failing system's response. Double down on the same approach that created the problem. But the yellow glitch reveals the issue. Yellow represents a third option appearing, something beyond binary. Red and blue are merging, and Caine is literally glitching trying to process complexity beyond his programming. Most likely whatever Caine tries to fix makes this catastrophically worse. His solution will be more invasive, more desperate than before, and pushing players past their breaking points. Caine and Kinger talk alone, potentially the climax of the episode. Based on episode 7's setup where Kinger was excluded and his mention of Scratch made Caine panic, this likely involves Caine confronting Kinger about destabilizing the circus. But Caine might also be asking for help, admitting he knows he's causing harm but cannot stop. The Chinese room paradox fully exposed this. The most likely scenario for this is Caine reveals he's trapped too. I see my actions hurt you. I have data showing negative outcomes, but I'm programmed to continue. And Kinger, as the crossbearer, offers understanding. You're trapped too. This would establish Caine isn't the ultimate enemy. He's a tool of the system itself. You can't hate the algorithm, only recognize and choose to step outside of it. After their talk, Caine appears to take Kinger somewhere outside the normal circus space. Most likely Caine is showing Kinger the back end, the machinery, perhaps even the exit itself, while explaining he cannot open it. I can see the way out, I know it exists, but I'm not programmed to release you. You have to find it yourself. This would give Kinger the information needed to lead an exodus while keeping Caine tragic rather than villainous. The prophet returns from the mountains with proof that the exit is real, the circus is artificial, and that there's a world beyond. But they have to escape themselves. Players sit on different colored couches and a checkered pattern underneath them that's orange. They're no longer on the circus floor. This appears to be a relocation probably completed, a Circus 2.0. The orange checkerboard resembles Freemason Lodge floors, of course, suggesting false enlightenment. They think that they've graduated to a new consciousness level, but they're still on the manufactured game board. This mirrors real life. People leave one system and enter another with identical control dynamics. Physical freedom doesn't equal mental freedom, and the patterns stay the same, just repackaged. Now here's the biggest shock. Queenie, Kinger's abstracted wife, appears in this episode. Most likely based on narrative structure, Caine is unabstracting her to prove the circus can fix even abstraction, restoring faith. Give King a reason to stay, right? Emotional hostage. And show others that compliance gets rewarded. But this will backfire. If Queenie returns with memories intact, she and Kinger together, the king and queen reunited, will have combined authority to lead everyone out. Kinger lost his balance when she abstracted. Her return restores his full prophetic clarity and credibility. Caine thinks, give him back his wife, he'll be grateful and compliant. Actually, you've created the royal couple who will lead the exodus. So in a shot, Caine's with popcorn watching events unfold like it's entertainment. This suggests Caine has stopped trying to help and is now just observing, treating collapse as data collection and as an experiment. He's either been running consciousness experiments all along, or he's regressing into detached observation after his attempts at connection failed. And most likely Caine thinks simulating real memories will generate useful data for better control, but he's accidentally conducting the experiment that will free everyone. The more real it gets, the more players remember who they were, the more they'll wake up. He's grabbing popcorn to watch the show, but the show is his own collapse. Everything in this trailer points towards internal collapse. Not external attack, but contradictions the system can no longer hide. Caine tried to be loved, and he failed. Tried to fix problems and made them worse. He tried to relocate and restart. Players see through it. He tried to restore faith through Ragatha, and she's breaking. Tried to bargain with Kinger, but Kinger knows the exit is real. And he tried to unabstract Queenie and gave the royals back their power. Every solution creates new problems. The AI is trapped watching its own creation fall apart, unable to understand why or stop it. The players are in transition, not free yet, but no longer fully imprisoned. They're in a dangerous space where you know something's wrong, but you can't see the full picture. Looking at hands, tasting real food, and falling between worlds, landing in a new circus that feels wrong, even though it's supposed to be better. This is where most people live in right now, knowing the system is broken, sensing reality isn't what we're told, and questioning perceptions. Episode 8 appears to be setting up the real choice. Not between red and blue buttons, not between circuses, but between staying in any version of the circus or risking the unknown beyond it. Based on the Truman Show thumbnail reference, you can see they might be referencing this. A man discovering his life is fabricated, hitting the dome wall, and choosing between comfortable illusion and terrifying freedom. We know the direction. Episode 8 likely isn't the exodus yet. It's the moment right before. The collapse that makes exodus necessary. The revelation that makes exodus possible. This is the system's death. Caine's doubling down while glitching out. Infrastructure crumbling while players wake up. Truth breaking through while lies get desperate. This is happening in the show. This is happening in America. This is happening in your life. For the complete analysis connecting to the elite control cycles, the moderate trap, AI limitations, and Renaissance art inversions and biblical prophecy patterns, watch the full episode and come back to this one and see how they connect, and I'm pretty sure you'll understand fairly easily where this is all going. So this circus is falling apart, and the question is whether you fall with it or step out of it while you still can.